on speed dial. Hello and welcome to this third podcast. I'm Nigel Peregrine, maverick loss adjuster, insurance juggernaut, professional bastard. I'm here to show you how extreme the insurance world can actually be. It's been an interesting few weeks since my last podcast. Had some good feedback following the clip of me on Top Gear. What have I been up to the past few weeks since the last one? I've been doing a lot, the insurance game is shitting relentless, isn't it? Non-stop carnage. School holidays, isn't it? And I had one job I went to have a look at, and I got ambushed, didn't I? School holidays, the kids are off. And the mother thought it'd be an opportunity for her two little rat children to sing a song. They're going to go on Britain's Got Talent with it, apparently. And good God, it was horrific. The sort of sound you'd ideally want for a car alarm. Honestly, because you hear that going up, you go, what the bloody hell's that? And they asked me what I think, so of course, I told them that it was the best impression of a pet shop burning down I'd ever heard. The sounds of their snivels was far more pleasant than the 3 minutes of torture that I had to listen to beforehand. I put that on LinkedIn, and I had a teacher having a right go at me about that. What else have I been up to? Visited one policyholder. I'll tell you, her makeup. I'm not saying her makeup was laid on thick, but if she was a wall, then she would have reduced the square footage of the room quite bloody considerably. Oh yeah, absolutely plastered on it was. Then what else? We had a party for my colleague Gerald Skifflebrow. Love a party, opportunity to get pissed. I turned up pissed already, to be honest, trying to start a conga. Not appropriate for a search party. You've been missing a week. What else have we had to? A bit of grief with some Australians. No. It's like a squeaky shitting engine. It just wouldn't stop. Got a bit tedious, but I thought I'd do something, try and help with charity. So I set up Just Giving, and I'm supposed to do a sponsor thing by Declan E. Blunder, my employers, but I'm not doing that. No, I'm doing this Just Giving thing. So this is real. I'm trying to raise somebody. It's if you search for justgiving.com/SHAT, shat. Australia's in a crisis. There's some sort of mug shortage. Every day an Aussie reaches out to me, harping on about getting a shitting mug, all because I ran a competition to win one that was only available to my followers on the Facebook here in the UK. And I don't even know who these people are. To be quite honest, they take the piss. I can only assume that Australia's in dire need of crockery, and that's why I've set up Sending Homeware to Australia for Tea, or SHAT for short. This is the thing, right? They might be trying to take the piss, but the Peregrine is the master of taking the piss. What do you think? I'm on my final bloody warning. Of course, any donations don't actually go to Australia because, well, the Aboriginals, they managed to fashion kitchenware well before the invention of ceramics. And those skills should not be lost. They can survive in the bush. I've got a colleague, actually, Dougie Flapplesquack, who after a few beers on a Monday lunchtime, he often isn't shy in sharing how he survived the bush back in 1976. Although by that he actually means the last sexual encounter with his now ex-wife. But I digress. So I won't really be sending in the donations, and I won't be getting the donations either. The donations will be going out for heroes. And I know what you're thinking. Nigel, loss adjusters are heroes too. And to those people, I would say, firstly, don't get too familiar. Yeah, don't call me Nigel. There's a line. You don't know me. You're not in the inner circle. back off. Secondly, yes, adjusters are heroes, and we fight at the front line of insurance every shitting day, but that is absolutely shithole compared to the risk and sacrifice of the men and women of the armed forces. So what I'm asking is, if you enjoy what I put out there, and if it makes you smile, then please show some appreciation, a couple of quid, whatever it is. Add it to the Just Giving page. I'm trying to do something nice here. You know, it doesn't come natural. If Peregrine, myself, can take the piss out of Aussies and raise a bit of money for a good cause, then that's something worth doing. So, yeah, I like the fact I'll be honest with you, it's been a bit shit. I've had 2 donations. I've just had 2 donations. I'll put a tenner in. And then I've had 2 very generous donations. One from Tobias Daniel. And he says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Tobias. Thank you very much. And Nigel Watkinson. Good name, Nigel. Solid. And he says, taking the piss out of Aussies and helping an excellent cause. Win-win. He gets it. He knows what we're talking about. He's a good bloke. Bloody good blokes. Thank you for their donations. But yeah, I'll be grateful for any other donations. I'm going on enough now. So today I'm going to be telling you another true tale. I'm going to introduce you to somebody who gives me a lot of grief. He's a loss assessor, and you'll find out about him, how much of a shitting ass candle the bloke is. This is called Nemesis. Now, this is a true story and provide you with an insight into loss adjusting. Again, people think insurance is boring. They haven't got a shitting clue. I shall begin. It was a Wednesday. The air was cool for June, and I knew that today was going to be a day of difficulties. I realised I'd run out of clean socks. The plain black sock is the loss adjuster's sock of choice. It reeks of authority, knowledge, and professionalism. It's also easily reversible without being easily noticed, and that's what I'd have to do today. Not the first time, not the last time. The fashion sense of a loss adjuster is simple. There's no jazzy socks here. We're professional insurance experts, not Blue Peter presenters for shit's sake. And don't even think about wearing a stupid tie. It's pathetic. Can you imagine telling someone in their claim is going to be turned down, watching them break down in tears in front of you, full of snot and dribble, and meanwhile you're sat there opposite them, wearing a shitting Scooby-Doo tie? Anyway, I'd done my charcoal grey suit, which is due its quarterly dry clean, and headed out into the world. There was a gentle breeze in the air, and I stopped to breathe it in. My nostrils smelling the sweet scent of insurance needy in the air. It's subtle, but it is there. There were people out there in need of Nigel Peregrine and his expanse of insurance knowledge. But still, something wasn't right. I put it down to the kebab I ate the night before. I jumped into the Capri and thundered to my first appointment. Come on! Reached my third appointment of the day. It was a bungalow that had suffered an escape of water in the kitchen. I pulled up onto the driveway, skidding to a halt. It was an unusual driveway as it didn't have a drop curb and was completely covered in grass. Anyway, the skid marks, they'll soon grow over again, and as I stepped out of the beast, I noticed a Mercedes parked nearby. The registration plate read B3ARD. And I had a sickly feeling that this was why I was going to have a bad, strange feeling all day. If you do see that reg, give it a little scratch, alright? My sixth sense had been forewarning me. But maybe I was wrong, and actually it could have just been that kebab from the night before, working its way through my digestive system. I'd be fine like a trooper all morning. But just to be safe, I took a couple of swigs from my hip flask and hoped for the best. My knuckles rapped on the front door. Mrs. Dempsey, approximately 36 years old, 40, 33, 43, those are her stats, I reckon, reasonably attractive, answered. Mrs. Dempsey, Nigel Peregrine, loss adjuster. I've come to adjust the shit out of your claim. Hello, please come in. What time is it? I stepped over the threshold and into the hallway. Now, I understand you've had an escape of water, and I intend to get this resolved ASAP for you. I suggest you give me plenty of space to work, and if it does get a little intense, do not be afraid. Then a voice came from the lounge. A voice that I hate to hear. Is that Nigel Peregrine? I thought I heard a tractor pull up. I'm trying to do his voice, but I'm an adjuster. I'm not an entertainer. I'm no Bobby Davro. The sudden adrenal dump hit me in the pit of my stomach. Again, it might have been the kebab, but most probably adrenaline. Either way, a little fart popped out. Luckily, it wasn't a wet one. As you know, loss adjusters go commando. It's a risky business. I stepped into the lounge, and sure enough, it was the face that I despise. Nigel, lovely to see you again. Beard love, I said, looking at him with contempt. Sat there all comfortable, making himself at home on her settee with a cup of tea was bloody Oliver Beard Love. Now, I've explained before what loss assessors are, but just to give you a quick overview, they're a different breed to adjusters. Their job is to get the highest settlement possible. Assessors will tell you that they're trying to get the most reasonable price possible, but it's bollocks, because it's in their interest to get it as much as possible because they get commission. But the bigger the claims cost, the bigger the effect on the premium for the policyholder. Every day, somewhere in the country, loss assessors and loss adjusters go to war. Locking horns, and every day blood is shed on both sides. There he was. I mean, this will give you an idea what he's like. There he was with his Cuban heels, flesh suit from Moss Bros, watch with compass, stopwatch, and waterproof depth of up to 30 metres. Flesh bastard he is. To top it off, he had a tie with a Tasmanian devil on him. Ugh. He stood up and confidently strode over to me. If it's any consolation, he's still a bit shorter than me despite his Cuban heels. Well, Nigel Peregrine, how are you? Life treating you well? He said with an air of smugness. Bloody brilliant, actually, I reply. He points to my tie. What's that on your tie? Some sort of stain? He was right, it was Worcestershire sauce. I point to his tie. What's that on your tie? A throwback reference to an early 90s cartoon and a sad attempt to look like you've got a sense of humour. He pulls a face like finding a fart in a lift. Touché, I think. Then he goes for a low blow. How's the wife? You should know, Beard Love. She ran off with you. His face looks smug once again. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He pulls a smirk, revealing a gold tooth. Paid for by the ignorance of policyholders. Believe me, Beard Love, you did me a favour. Did I really? I think I did her a favour, Peregrine. Is that alcohol I can smell? My blood starts to boil. I feel ready to unleash hell onto the smug of my nemesis. I feel my fingers reach into my pocket and start to clasp my brass companion, which is only for emergencies. Listen here, Beard Love, you cretin. There's nothing I would love more right now than to give you a bloody good thrashing. Luckily for you, I'm on my final warning. But hear this, Suddy. If our paths should ever cross outside this insurance world, out there, in Civvy Street, maybe in passing in a little car park or at that budget supermarket, I will unleash the dragon and I will destroy you and your shitting comb over. I only shop at Waitrose, Peregrine, he replies. Then you've made my hunt that much shitting easier, Beard Love. We look at each other, staring into each other's eyes, red-faced, poised. At any second, this could erupt into a bloodbath of insurance carnage. And how ironic would that be on the resultant claim form for Mrs. Dempsey? The tension is broken by a cough. Can we get on with this claim then, gentlemen? I've got to pick the kids up at 3:30. I don't know what voice that is, but still maintained eye contact with Beard Love to ensure he doesn't make any sudden moves. Indeed, I say. Let's do this, says Beard Love. Ugh.
I don't dislike Nigel. I don't really know him to dislike him. As a boxer, I respect him. He's a good fighter. Basically, I see him as a business obstacle of which I must get past to enhance my standard of living, to look after my family and so on.
Nigel, to Chris, you're just a business obstacle. What is he to you?
It's a cheap extension. Then you got your Polish mate down the pub to build. You stand a better chance if it was held together with duct tape and chewing gum. We are heading towards the kitchen. Stay back, I say. I need space to survey the devastation before me. I step into the room. Beard Love tries to follow me in. Get back, I say, get back! You'll bloody interfere with a claim scene, you comb-over cretin shit shark. He does as I command, responding to the alpha male. I thought I heard him whisper alcoholic under his breath, but I'm not focusing on that. This right here, right now, is Peregrine's world. It was obvious with what I was faced with, absolute shit and carnage as usual. We're talking about a decent grade of laminate flooring that had warped. In the business, we call it cupping and crowning. Unfortunately, I'm not referring to the indecent bribery at a beauty pageant. It's when the individual pieces of laminate warp in a concave or convex fashion. I know, amazing, isn't it? Beard Love opens his fat mouth. It's classic cupping and crowning, I interject. I know my shit, Beard Love. Now let Daddy concentrate. I crouch down. I rub my hand across the floor. I then rub my fingers and thumb together and take a sniff. Yes, I have felt the peril. I now sniff the peril. Time to taste the peril. I lick my fingers. An unusual flavour. We've got 2 dogs, says Mrs. Dempsey. Yeah, licking my thumb was probably not a good idea. But I can't let this show to Beard Love and Dempsey, I stand up and turn to face the now clearly attracted to me, Mrs. Dempsey. Pretty obvious what we've got here, Mrs. Dempsey. I stop for a second to remove some more fluff from my tongue. This has the hallmark of a classic escape of water. meaning that water has leaked from a fixed pipe or plumbed in.
You already know I had a leak. You said when you walked in.
I should give up doing voices. She was right. I'd forgotten about that. Has the leak been repaired? I asked.
Well, yeah. It happened over 2 weeks ago.
Says Mrs. Dempsey, with a look that can only put down to some sort of sexual frustration. Then Beardlove pipes in. What Mrs. Dempsey needs here is pretty obvious in my opinion. She needs a new laminate floor. I nod in agreement. And a new kitchen, he continues. Piss off, Beardlove. You're talking out your arse again. What do you think I am, some kind of bloody pilchard? Do I look like an apprentice adjuster? Fearful, anxious, green, in a nappy?
You do look a bit red-faced,
says Mrs. Dempsey. That'll be the alcohol, adds Beardlove. Shut it, Beardlove. What I do in my lunch break is none of your shitting concern. I reply, showing a little bit of rage, and I think this impressed Mrs. Dempsey. The roll of her eyes said it all. Then there's an eerie silence between all parties. The intense negotiations are about to commence. It's a bit awkward. My pen has run out. Can I borrow yours, Nige? Asked Beardlove. Begrudgingly, I hand it over my pen. I want it back. Of course, he says. It's a nice pen, this. Good weight to it. Of course it's a good pen. It was my gift from my department following 25 years' service. A Parker stainless steel classic. No cheap shit here, oh no. My department had a whip round. Must have raised a whopping £12.99 at least, because I checked out the cost price and it was in that region. Whilst Beardlove went to work making notes, I discussed with Mrs. Dempsey the finer details about the flooring. Eventually, after a heated discussion with Beardlove, a couple of threats of violence, and a game of rock, scissors, paper, finally we managed to agree a settlement for the floor. Most of the dispute was about the cost price and real need for skirting board. I told Beardlove that he could think again if he's thinking of convincing me that the skirting was made of offcuts from some antique teak shit from the Amazonian rainforest. Then he mentioned wicks, and I was all right with that. Mrs. Dempsey was late for the children, who were now standing alone at the school gates. But when I was 5, I was walking to school on my own, knew how to make fire and how to rebuild an engine. So I don't see what the big deal is. Beardlove left, and as I finalised the settlement with Mrs. Dempsey, I noticed that I hadn't got my pen. Beardlove still had my bloody pen. Damn you, Beardlove! You can run off with my wife, but not my Parker stainless steel classic. I ran out into the street to watch him speed away in his Mercedes. I waved my fist in the air and then realised that this wasn't 1942. I wasn't going to let him get away. Oh, no. Peregrine. I ran back to the Capri. Combat rolled over the bonnet of the driver's side. Unlocked the door, got in, removed the steering lock, clipped my seatbelt into the holster, pulled out the choke, put on my driving gloves, tuned the radio, and then fired her up. Come on! Arsehole! With wheels spinning, spraying mud up the walls of the house, and Mrs. Dempsey, who was standing in the doorway, I reversed into the street, narrowly missing a dog walker. The dog didn't fare too well, though. I don't get on well with dogs, and they don't get on well with me. I left the sounds of screams behind me as I sped off down the road like a man possessed. I was going to get my shitting bloody Parker pen back. Anyway, I didn't get my Parker pen back. I couldn't find Beardlove, despite driving around the streets for 3 hours searching for him. It also turns out that he and my wife have moved from the house that they lived in when she first ran off with him. And I only found that out from the screams of the now occupants having discovered me standing in their front room. But let me say this. I will find you, Beard Love. And when I do, I will have my revenge. And my Parker stainless steel pen back. And that's the end of that story. I hope you enjoyed it. Lovely insight into adjusters, especially how immersed we get into the actual insurable peril, how we smell, taste, feel the peril. It's how we understand the business, how we understand the carnage before us. It's standard loss adjusting. Every adjuster does it. I hope you understand now as well how much of an arse candle Oliver Beard Love is. He's also started following me on the LinkedIn. Chips in, has a little pop every now and again. Absolute shitty meat brick. Yeah. Terry, you play dominoes later? Put me down. Put me down. Oh, yeah, no, I'm up for it. Oh, up for it, yeah. Is Cliff coming down? If he does and he joins in, search his sleeves. Oh, yeah, he's cheats. Terrible bloke. Oh, scum. But you know me, haven't got a bad word to say against anyone. Right, so now, as you can tell, I'm back down the pub, and this is the part where I answer your questions. People send me questions on the Facebook or on the LinkedIn. Yeah, so the first one is from Richard Grant, and he asks me a specific industry question. How do you deal with your manager telling you to refer to special investigations when there are no jobs worth referring? Basically, it's like some sort of target or something. Special investigations are like looking at fraud and, you know, all that bollocks. And fortunately, I am physically imposing alpha male in the office environment, and I am able to intimidate my manager. I've told him to piss off on several occasions. It's also one of the reasons why I'm still on my final warning. Thank you for the question, Grant. Thank you. Next up, we've got Luke Show. Hello, Show. And, this is a good one. Do you say subsidence, or is it subsidence? Some people say subsidence or subsidence. Interesting question. You say tomato, and I say tomato. And you say potato, and I say, why are you shouting random fruit and veg? You got Tourette's. In answer to your question, I say subsidence. And at the risk of being controversial, anyone who says subsidence has got something wrong with them. Because a wall subsides, it does not subside. Thank you, Shoal. Bloody good question. Brano, one of my longest followers on the Facebook, regularly comments, contributes, bloody good bloke. And he sent a question. He asked me, have I ever met an assessor and thought, bloody decent bloke? Actually, Brano, no. Moving on. Helen Taylor sends me a question. Also sent me a picture of her in the bath once. Though where it wasn't saucy. No, there were no revealing parts, shown or anything like that. No. One thing I will say is a very good quality of mastic around the bath. The grouting was in good shape. Clearly, very good cleaning regime. Very impressive. The amount of mouldy mastic I see around baths and shitty grouting is disgusting. You see some sights to do with this job, I tell you. But yeah. Excellent cleaning regime. And she asks me, have you ever had policyholders so impressed that they ask you out on a date? Well, let's be honest, all adjusters are attractive to the opposite sex. And it's no wonder. It's because of the power, the confidence, the swagger, And let me tell you, nothing gets a lady worked up hotter than insurance talk. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, darling, when you finish with an evening with the Peregrine, you will not be in the same position you were in before. Oh, no. I will not be indemnifying you. Yeah, let me tell you, that's worked. That's worked. Well, it hasn't worked. I've never tried it, but I imagine that would go down quite well. All right, darling. I'm a loss adjuster. Fancy a bit of new for old? Maybe don't use that one. Maybe not. Let me tell you, darling, you could be underinsured, but you're definitely above average. That might work quite well. I'll try. Tracy. Tracy! 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 What? Sharon! Sorry, Sharon! Alright, love. Yeah. You could be underinsured, but you're definitely above average. Huh? That's not very nice. Usually, I mean, obviously Sharon's an exception, but, women are usually drawn to me like flies on shit. In answer to your question, has anybody asked me on a date? No. But I can usually tell by the way that, they've taken the extra effort to cover up, buttoning their cardigans up to their second chin. The body language, it's obvious, they want me. But, getting involved with policyholders, all that kind of stuff, you're asking for trouble. It just gets in the way of the job. And that concludes this podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much to all the questions there. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Shaw, Brano, and Taylor. Thank you for your questions. If you want to ask me a question, please do. It doesn't have to be on insurance. It could be anything. Send me a question on the Facebook, message me, or on the LinkedIn. Remember justgiving.com chat. Any donations, I will send you a thank you on the podcast. I will be eternally grateful. And of course, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please like it, please share it amongst your peers. Spread the word of Peregrine. Thank you very much. I'm going to go and play dominoes, and thank you very much. Cheers.